Okay, so we're going to try some of these problems, and I really want you to pause and try them and then kind of come back to the video to see if your work and my work match and your answer and my answer match. Um, Add this to the notes you just took in the last video and just kind of continue it. You can call it You Try. All right, so I want you to try, let's call this number 1, 5 times negative 2 over 3, and I want you to try negative 3 times negative 4 over 7. Okay, so pause the video, try both of those problems. Okay, hopefully you have tried them. Let's see how you did. Now, when I'm looking at 5 times a number, or times a fraction, I really want to do, and same with the 3, put it over 1. I think that helps you see that you're really still working with 2 numerators and 2 denominators. The other way of thinking about it is take your whole number and just multiply to the numerator. Okay, just multiply it by the numerator. Keep the denominator, finish out by simplifying. So I'm really going to do 5 times 2 and keep 3 in the bottom. Now, something that's helpful is to put the negative in the top, because then I'd be doing 5 times negative 2. Another way of thinking of it is, how many negatives do I have in my problem? 1. 1's an odd number, so I know my answer is negative. Okay, that's a whole bunch of different ways of thinking about your signs. So 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. I keep the 1 times 3, which is 3. There is no way to reduce this, and I really want improper fractions. If you want to practice and take an extra step to turn it into mixed numbers, that's fine, but make sure you're not making mistakes, okay? Because I see a lot of students make a mistake in that change, and then that's it. They had the right answer, and they took an extra step that they didn't need to, and ended up with the wrong answer, okay? All right, let's look at this one. So I have 2 negatives in this problem. That's an even number, so I know my answer is positive. So 3 times 4 is 12, 1 times 7 is 7, and my answer is positive. I don't need to go any further. Okay? All right, let's try 2 more. Let's make this, I'm going to lose track of my numbers, by the way, so you just keep counting. All right, let's make this number 3. Let's do 0.54 times 8. And let's make number 4, negative 2.4 times 3. Okay, so pause the video, try the problem. See how I'm trying to make normal faces while you pause? I don't know if it's working. You'll have to give me some feedback, okay? All right, so when we multiply with decimals, unlike adding and subtracting, I don't line up at the decimal. I line up all the way to the right. So I'm really doing like a 54 times an 8. And then when I'm done, I'm counting the decimals back into my answer. Okay? So 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 5 is 40 plus 3, 43. And then I count 2 decimals back in to my answer. Okay, so 4.32. And if you really feel like it on this assignment, you can take your calculator and check your work, 4.32. Okay, I do not want you to do it with the calculator, but if you want to do some extra practice, definitely you can finish the pages I'm talking about, and I'll tell you those in a second, and you could use a calculator to check your work. Okay? All right, so same with this one. We're really doing like a 24 times a 3. Okay, these were both positive, so I didn't even think about my signs, by the way. So this was a positive. Okay, so I do 3 times 4, 12, 3 times 2, 6, 7. I had 1 decimal, so I count in 1 decimal. And I had 1 negative, which is odd, so I have a negative answer. And you can, again, check your answer if you would like, and make sure, yep, we got it, that we have the correct answer. All right, let's move on to numbers 5 and 6. So number 5, I want you to do negative 2/3 times 1/2 times negative 6 over 7. Notice I didn't put parentheses around this first one, but because it's sitting right in front of the parentheses, that still means multiplication. Okay? And then our next one, we're going to move to division. We'll make this number 6, and we're going to try one of those complex. And then the weird thing about this one, this is why I chose it, is they put the negative out here. And we're going to talk about what that means, but try it, see if you can figure it out. Pause the video. Okay, hopefully you've tried these. Let's look at this. Number 5, I really want to use my cross-canceling techniques, or else I end up with really big numbers and make my math extremely hard compared to what it would be if I cross-canceled. So my 2's cancel. 6 over 3 leaves me 1 here and 2 here. Okay, now my numbers I'm in a good place. So this is gone times 1 times 2. This is gone times, I have a 7. And then I have 2 negatives. 2 is even, so my answer is positive. Okay? All right, let's look at number 6. So with number 6, the first thing I want to do, and I'm going to erase so that I have lots of room. You don't erase on your paper. The first thing I want to do is make it a 1 over 5 divided by 7 over 5. And some of you just went ahead and made it 1 over 5 times 5 over 7 because you're starting to see that pattern. Okay? Then I cross cancel 5s, so I'm left with 1 over 7. Now, look back at the original problem. How many negatives were in there? Just 1, which means we have a negative in our answer. Okay, and that's what that means. If you see a negative in front of all the work, and there's only one of them, you know your answer is negative. Okay, so hopefully you're able to figure that out. We're going to do 7 and 8. Look, I haven't lost count of my numbers yet. Okay, so number 7, let's try 251. This one's big numbers. Okay, I'm just warning you. Divided by 3 over 8. And for number 8, let's do negative 12 over 0.03. Okay, so pause it and try it. All right, let's look at number 7. Number 7, the first thing I want to do is make this multiplication and flip this to an 8 over 3. Because I'm on the whiteboard, I'm going to just do that nice and easy. So 8 over 3. Now, because I have a 251, I'm like hoping and praying that there's cross-canceling because I really don't want to work with those big numbers. And sure enough, as soon as I flip, I see, yes, thank you, thank you. It goes in once, it goes in twice. So I need to do 251 times 2. Now notice, I like to work my math problems all the way down. That's how you should be doing it. And then when you have a little quick computation problem, work off to the side, get your answer, and bring it back into your problem. Okay? So I'm going to do this off to the side. 2 times 1, 2 times 5, 2 times 2 is 4 plus 5. So I have 502 over 3. And then I'm going to show you a little trick. If you take this number and you add up each digit, if that number is divisible by 3, this number is. So here's what I mean. 5 plus 0 plus 2 is 7. Is 7 divisible by 3? No. So that means 502 isn't, which means we are done. Okay? So you may have got to the right answer, but I want you to really ask yourself, did you use all the strategies I'm giving you to get to this answer quicker with a little bit less work? And if you're not, then you need to start practicing my strategies. They're not the only way to do the problem, but most of the time it's the quickest way. And I come up with ways, I mean, not like I'm just coming up with this stuff, but I try to use the way that I feel is the least possible chance to make a mistake, kind of start to finish. And so I try to keep it simple so that I don't make mistakes, because you're going to see in math, which you've probably already seen, I make mistakes all the time and everybody does. So if I'm taking on a strategy that might help or reduce my mistakes, that's going to be the way to go. Okay? All right, let's look at this one. So like I said, the 12 needs to go underneath the 0.03 on the outside. Now, in this case, to get to the whole number, I had to move the decimal twice. So that means you got to know that in real life, it's a 12.0. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, as many as I want. So if I moved this twice, I need to move this twice. And then I usually try to put it up here right away. Let me move this so that I have lots of space so that I don't forget. So I'm not really putting a 0.03 into anything. I'm putting a 3 into 1200. Okay? So now I finish this problem. 3 goes into 12 4 times. 12, 0, bring down to 0, fill it, 0, bring down to 0, fill it, 0. And you could always check yourself, 400 times 3, 0, 0, 12. And because I have the decimal, that makes my answer 400. Okay? All right, we have one more problem to do. That makes it number 9. And that is negative 3 over 7 over 9 over 4. I wrote that huge because I'm about to erase it and make it in a format I want to use, but I want you to pause and see if you can do it on your own. Okay. So, I know, I love the whiteboard, but negative 3 over 7, it would be divided by 9 over 4, so I'm going to turn it right away to times 4 over 9. This goes in at once, this goes in itself 3 times. 1 times 4 is 4. 7 times 3 is 21. There's only one negative, that's an odd number, so the whole answer is negative. And 2 doesn't go into 21, neither does 4, which makes this our answer. Okay? If you want more practice, you can go back to the guided practice on page 86. You could do the rest of those problems and you could check them with your calculator. You could also go to the guided practice for 3.5. So just find Module 3, Lesson 5. Find the guided practice. It should say that on the top. And you could try some more of these problems that we've been practicing. You can use a calculator to check your work, or feel free to send me an email with the page number and the problem number, and I can check your work for you and tell you if you're on the right track. Okay, good luck, and I will see you guys soon.